All right, class, welcome to InDesign II. I am going to walk you through what we did in class today for our in-class. And we actually started with a template file that we had previously created, but I'll go ahead and create that again today. And we're going to come up and do a file new document. We're in InDesign CS6, and we're going to for this particular assignment, we are going to use a two-page spread. So we're going to say number of pages 2, and we're going to start on page 2. And we do want facing pages. And this is where you would change your columns, and this is where you change your margins. And I don't remember the specifics, but I'll just keep that as the default. So I'm going to click OK, and that's going to create the new spread, the two-page spread. And so this would be an example of a magazine spread. So you open up a magazine, and you've got a left side and a right side, and how there's the fold down the middle. This is going to represent that. So here are the 2 pages that you see. The black lines that you see, those represent the page edge. All right, so that's the page edge. The black line down the middle, that is the fold. And the magenta, pink, and purple lines, those represent the margins. And so, and by the way, in between this margin and this margin, right in this space, this is called the gutter. So on this particular 2-page spread, I'm going to come in and place some graphics. I've got 2 photographs that I'm going to place, and I'm going to come over here and go ahead and place those now. The photographs that you place into InDesign, you want to make sure that they are the proper format, and that format being CMYK. It needs to be CMYK, and let's see. I actually need to log into the server, I think, to access these files, or let me put this drive in. Alright, so let's try it. Let me try this again. I had not copied over those files to my desktop like we did in class. So here's my USB, and here are my files right here. And so the image that I want to drop in is this 2-page magazine spread photo. So I did a file place, and I'm going to click and drag, or I could click. But in this case, I want to click and drag, and I want to click and drag from the top left down. And I want this photograph to bleed across the margins to the top of the page, the left of the page, and the bottom of the page. I'm going to tighten up this right side a little bit. I don't want the image to come that far over, so we're going to pull that over. And the next element that we're going to come in and create is the body copy, and I would like the body copy to start right about here, which is about 24 picas down from the top. So I'm going to come over to my type tool, and I'm going to click and drag to create a rectangular box that type is going to sit in. Just for design purposes, we can come in and say type, fill with placeholder text. That's going to come in and drop some type in here. I now can come over to my selection tool, and I'm going to change this box that's holding the type to 2 columns, which I'll do that right here. You can go 3 columns if you wish. For this particular design, I think 2 columns is going to work nice. I'm going to come over to my type tool, click in anywhere inside of the story, do a select all. Now I can come over and change my font. So I'm going to select a serif font for this and let's see, a good serif font is, let's see, I'll go with Garamond for this example. I know I use something different in class, but here's a nice serif font, and so it's kind of hard to see. So let's do a Command plus to zoom in, and now we can see this text a little bit easier. By the way, you can double click inside any text box and you'll get the cursor. If you triple click, it'll select the line. And I think, let's try, I did 4 clicks and look there, it selected a section. I don't know why it didn't select all, but I'm going to actually do a Command A and select all of this type, all of this text. And a couple different options that you have in the type tool with the type palette up here. You can come in and add indents. So you'll notice that I'm adding indents. Wow, this is a really long paragraph. So I'm going to make a new paragraph return here. That paragraph is way too long. I think this one's way too long. This placeholder text, by the way, is just simply so you can visualize what the copy is going to look like once you place it in there. So feel free to modify this in any way you see fit. And if you can read this gibberish and there's something offensive, contact Adobe. Do not contact me. So I'm going to do a select all. I don't actually want this indent, so I'm going to take this indent off. I just wanted to show you how to get to that. And but what I do want is I want to come in and select just this first paragraph, and I am going to come in and create a drop cap, and you do that right here. And so as you change this to 2, you'll notice that the first character, the M, drops down into the second line. And you want to select that whole paragraph to do that. If you want it to go 3 lines down, you can do 3 lines. And if you want it to be the entire word, you can actually increase the number of characters horizontally. So I want that to be 1, and I want this to be 2. All right. So the next thing that we can do is I'm going to select all again, and I'm going to add some space after each paragraph. So here's space after each paragraph. We can change that however we would like to. And I'm going to come over here to this part of the palette, and I'm going to click on this button, which you'll notice that it changes the alignment. And so I actually don't want to do this align to baseline grid. I want to keep it just like this, but sometimes you can have some weird alignment going, and that's one option to possibly fix that. Alright, so let's come in and add a subhead. So I'm going to do put the cursor right here, return once. I'm going to type in a quick subhead. We can come in and change the font, the style, the color, the size. But one thing, let's see, let's come back here, and we'll go ahead and change the font color. And I want to make this font Arial, which is a sans serif font. And I can also change the size if I want it to be a little bit bigger. Alright, so there's a nice subhead. Subheads are a great way to break up a story into chunks that makes it easier to read. Now notice the equal space in between the paragraph above and the paragraph below. And I'm going to come back over here to my spacing after the paragraph, and just for that copy I'm going to turn that off, and you'll notice that that space tightens up. Alright, so the next thing that we did in class is we came in and created a headline. So I'm going to come over to a text box, and I'm going to type over. Of course, you want to use a headline that's appropriate for your story. And with this, you can again triple click and it's going to select it. You can change your font size to something larger. Your font, if it gets too large and it doesn't fit inside the box, you need to resize the box if you saw that little red character. So this particular font, I want to change the color. I want it to be a blue-ish color, and I'm just going to select cyan just for simplicity, but there's a little bit of blue in his nose over here. I might want it to make sure that it matched. Now, I'm going to break the rules here. And the O, I actually want to bleed to the edge. The O is going to become a graphic, even though it's type. So I want that O to go all the way to the top edge. And I want the O to go over close to the fold, but not all the way. All right? So something like that. I just changed the color, sized it, moved it where I wanted to. So the next thing I'm going to do is come in with a new type, or new text box. Type in the, and I want this font to be a little bit larger. I can size it if I want to. I'm going to go back to a font that I previously used, and that's Arial. So I'm going to select Arial Regular. And I want that color to be the same color as that blue. Alright, so this is a little small, so I'm going to size it up. I'm going to hold down the Command key and the Shift key to size. That's still a little bit small. I'm going to maybe move it right there. And maybe I'll use the alignment of this body copy to align that text box, right? So I'm just going to hold down the Option key to copy this, make the box larger, and type in the rest of the headline. And I actually want this larger, so I'm going to hold down the Command key again, and I'm going to size it. Alright, and I wonder what this would look like bold. I think I actually like it bold better. But I do not like this. I do not like this in blue, so I'm going to change it. And just for now, I'll go black. Alright, so we've dropped in a photograph, we've dropped in some text, we have modified that text, formatted it, we've come in and created a headline, and the last thing that we did in class was to drop in one more graphic, and I'll go ahead and drop in this color splash that we dropped in, and it's going to go right here at the top. So I'm going to drop it in right here, and I actually want it to kind of be off of the page. I just want part of it to be in the layout itself. So let me zoom out. We can take a look at our amazing layout. We can go into preview mode, which is right here, and that looks really nice. One last thing that I would like to do, and I did this in class, and that's just a little bit of detail work. And so I want this M to actually to be that magenta. So I'm going to change it to a magenta. And then the very last thing that I did in class is I came in and I created a circle that basically went behind this O. So I'm going to turn the stroke off, fill it with white, and now I'm going to take that object and send backwards. And I'm going to send backwards probably 2 or 3 times before it goes behind the O. Now let's go back out to our preview, and this is the almost finished layout, but does that not look amazing? So that's how you start a 2-page magazine spread.